Ladies and gentlemen, students, once again a very warm welcome to the day 2 of the 11th MMA All India Management Students Convention on the theme Entrepreneurship, the Road Less Traveled. A very warm welcome to all the viewers who are watching this live through our webcast. Since yesterday, Happiness Murli, Padmaja, or be it Manoj from Zeal, the one thing they made us do is made us stand, made us move, and made us dance. And the impact of each of these sessions was so much that I think even table tennis players in Germany started dancing. That's what we saw in one of the video clips. So that's kinesiology, one term that we have picked up in MMA. And we'll try and see that kinesiology is one of the most happening management programs among the professionals. All right, before we start the first session, a couple of announcements. We'd like to find out if the winning team of the business plan competition from Sri Sai Ram Institute of Management, are they present in the hall? I would like to call upon Pavitra and Ramya to please come backstage. Is it Pavitra and Ramya? Well, after kinesiology, you should be running actually. Your presentation will be second, so you can wait backstage. We begin today's session with the presentation by the winning team of paper presentation competition. And the winning team is from Dhruva College of Management, Hyderabad. Okay, I call upon Pavitra and Ramya to please take their place on the dais from Sri Sai Ram Institute of Management Studies. They are the winning team of business plan competition. May I also call upon the winning team from Dhruva College of Management, Hyderabad, Ms. Kaveri Kannam and Pratyusha Tumati. Very warm welcome. I now invite the chairman of this session, Mr. K.M. Padmanabhan, member managing committee and director, Prerna Educational Institution, to please take his place on the dais. Very warm welcome to you, sir. Both the teams will be making their presentations, and I now hand over the session to Mr. Padmanabhan.
Good morning. After the happiness exercise, you are expected to continue the happiness. Good morning. Thank you. So, it is your own presentation, students' presentation. People like you who have done well, who have practiced, spend endless hours in practicing or demonstrating their skills here. We need to know management education is simply not knowledge alone. Unlike mathematics, physics and all other disciplines. When we talk about management actually talks not only about knowledge, which you all learn, we also talk about the ability to apply that knowledge in a business situation, what we call skill. When we talk about skills, we simply not talking about skills. Even though we are talking about team building, leadership, communication, as a soft skills, you also find when you try to apply it in a business setting, in a management setting, it is totally different. So, when you talk about entrepreneurship, you are not only talking about what all the business knowledge that you have, you are not only talking about skills, but you are also talking about how do I apply the knowledge I have learned from my professors, how do I put all the skills that I got over the years into business. This aspect, what we call is conceptual skill. This conceptual skill can never ever be taught. This is something that each one of us need to strive and learn. This is why Madras Management Association thought fit that we must conduct some programs like this. So you will have an opportunity to do what you must be doing in a workplace, which means this is something like an incubator. When you open a shell from outside, a life is lost. When people liberate themselves from the shell, a life is born. So MMA is giving you this opportunity so that you'll know that you have got a life as an entrepreneur, you have got a life as a manager. So I want you to listen to these young people, your friends, with that as a context. How is it these people are demonstrating their knowledge? Are they able to get across the knowledge in an acceptable way? And do they have the conceptual skill that things can be put into practice? So we'll listen to them. Then I'll come back to you on what is my comments. So first I'll invite from Sriram Institute of Management Studies, Ms. Pavitra and Ms. Ramya. You can take your turn and we'll work on that. Thank you.
Happy day to one and all present here. I am Pavitra and she's Ramya, my partner. We are here to present our business plan. PowerPath, Walk to Generate, is our organization. I hope from our organization's name you would have got what is our plan about. Yes, it's about generating electricity. This is our logo. Our logo depicts that the energy that is being generated from our product is absolutely eco-friendly, and also we generate electricity from the human activities like walking. Our product name is KE in word. KE stands for kinetic energy. To start off with, let's see about energy crisis. There is an acute shortage of energy in the country. Why there is a crisis? Basically, because there is an insufficient energy resources leading to the shortage of supply, where on the other hand, the demand is growing on and on. Our vision is to become the emperors in generating green electricity and to make the future a crisis-free era. We obtain our vision through our missions that we will be the better choice to generate electricity via kinetic energy, and also we will try to convert all possible human activities into electrical energy to overcome electricity crisis. Let's see about our business objectives. Why did we come about this plan? Because in the current scenario, there is an increase in need to find alternative sources of energy for the electricity supply. We generate electricity from the revolving doors and pathway. The process is being done by converting kinetic energy into mechanical energy, and the mechanical energy is further converted into electrical energy. Both the products works as a visual merchandising as well as its help in energy production. The electricity that has been generated from the pathway is done by a product called piezoelectric tile. It converts foot impact energy into electrical energy. Our product is able to attain the capacity utilization factor of about 40% from the overall energy that has been required by a place. How do we generate our electricity from the revolving doors? If you see in this picture, the door is being placed above the ground level, and below the ground level you have gears, generator, and a battery. When the door rotates, the kinetic energy is being taken by the two gears, and the gears convert the kinetic energy into mechanical energy, and then further the generator converts the mechanical energy into electrical energy, and this electrical energy is being stored into a battery. How does the tile works in generating electricity? There is a general property for the piezo materials that it can create electrical charges when it is being strained within mechanical stress. As you see here, the vibrating structure is the place where the individual creates a foot impact, and because of that mechanical stress, the piezo crystals that has been placed inside the tail is able to produce electricity by using the magnetic means, magnets, AC to DC conversions, and electrical load that is also present inside the tail. Our product process. We don't have any kind of a production process in our organization. It's just an assembling process because we get our raw materials like door, gearboxes, piezo tails, and wires from vendors. And we put all together, we connect everything to a central battery system or an inverter, and we assemble it in our place. And then we do a product testing in our place, and the final installation is done at the customer place. To see about our competitive advantages, we have no climatic barriers to generate electricity from our product, and we can generate power 24/7 when there is a continuous movement of individuals through our product. And the end product is quite costlier, but it saves about 40% of your electricity charges. And there is no requirement of any kind of a natural or a renewable or non-renewable resources to produce electricity from our product. And it does not produce any kind of a harmful radiations or pollutions when the product is functioning and also when the product is at rest.
Good morning to one and all present here. Now let's see the SWOT analysis of our product. Our strength, it is eco-friendly and it is renewable, whereas we are not going to require any natural renewable sources, and it generated through the human activities. Whereas we are the newcomer to the product, so we have a good placements in the product. And our weakness, or it is not applicable in residence, because there will be only a less movement of action will be done, and it is quite costlier for the small organization. Let's see the opportunities. Now there is an electricity crisis, which makes us an opportunity to go for the eco-friendly electricity. And it is there is an increase in awareness of the green electricity. And in case if government is making it mandatory for the large-scale organization, there will be a good scope for it. And the threat is if we cannot make it commercialization, and new competition may arise in a short period. Whereas you can find a letter R in between, which is risk, which is a combination of weakness and strength. The risk is we are applying a new technology, whereas the acceptance levels will be low only initially.
Market analysis, and this is the sector-wise power that has been required in different sectors, and this has been stated by the Hindu Survey of Indian Industry 2012. Our marketing strategy. We are planning to give sales brochures to malls, theatres, organizations, and also we are planning to distribute brochures to the retailers of fixtures. And our marketing team will send direct emails to the vendors of revolving doors and also to industrial builders so as to obtain customers from their side. We are also planning to do an e-marketing, like giving ads in popular websites, social networks, creating blogs, and opening websites for overseas customer. And we are also planning to follow a concept called personal selling, that our marketing team will directly go and approach the owners or the concerned person of a theaters, malls, etc. And they explain about our product, and we do direct sales with them. Our target market. We have segregated our market into 4 bases, like product-based sector, service-based sector, we are planning to do a self-retailing too, and also we are planning to sell our product to government. Product-based sector involves industries like factories, large-scale organizations, etc. And service-based sector includes hospitals, educational institutions. Self-retailing, we are planning to retail our product directly to the malls, theaters, corporates, star hotels. And we are also planning to install, as I said earlier, we are planning to sell our product to the government agencies, like we'll be installing our products at railway station, airports, government organization, public libraries. Basically, the product is more beneficial when there is a large number of movements of individuals.
let's see the distribution channel. We are aiming for a direct sale and also a government agency. And next comes the organizational structure. We have 5 managing partners, 2 are working partners and 3 are sleeping partners. We have a R&D department to make our product a continuous improvement product, and HR, whereas we don't have any production process. So we have a warehouse manager and also a sales and service department, because the technicians are the one who are going to install it in the customer's place. Our plant location, it is in Tamil Nadu, Chennai and Chengalpet Industrial Estate. This is our website, www.powerpath.com. It is under construction, and these are the contacts. These are the information about the vendor information, door suppliers and the electrical supplement suppliers. And we are aiming to get the tile suppliers from Spain and Netherlands, because these are the new technology. We have to import it from them. And let's see the finance. Total cost requirement is 1 crore 75 lakhs, and the sources are like from partner contribution. Since there are 5 partners, each are going to contribute a 15 lakhs, so 75 lakhs, and we are going to get a loan from SBI of interest 12.5, so 1 crore, and it totally comes up to 1 crore 75,000. And the usages are like land. We are going to lease a land for 10 lakhs, and raw materials, technical and startup cost comes up to 1 crore 15,000. It includes the technology design also. And preliminary expense like setting up a corporate office, it comes up to 50 lakhs. Assembling cost. Product details. We are categorizing our product into 3 types, like basic, classic and sophisticated. When we consider the basic product, we are going to provide you with a door and also with a 50 tiles, 50 piezo tiles. So the cost of production is 3 lakh, and we aim for a profit margin of 25%. So selling profit will be 3 lakh 75, and its efficiency is 35.38. That is, when a basic product is going to be installed in a customer's place, there will be a revolving door as well as 50 tiles. Whereas in classic, there will be 1 revolving door and 200 tiles. Whereas in sophisticated, there will be 1 revolving door and 1400 tiles. Basic gives an efficiency of 35, and classic gives an efficiency of 37, and sophisticated gives an efficiency of 40%. That is, we are going to save the energy from the main board of electricity. Our interest cost, loan fund is 1 crore, and rate of interest is 12.4, so the interest per annum is 12,50,000. Product profitability. Now let us consider how we are going to generate electricity. Like when a door is when the door is pushed kinetically, 1 revolution makes 0.9 volt. That is, if we consider like a door is going to be revolved for 20,000 times, it produces an energy of 14 kilowatts per hour per day. Whereas the tile, when we make an impact, when we consider a rectangular area of 16 to 6, there will be a person is about to walk around 250 steps. When he makes such an impact, he is going to produce like 7.23 kilowatts per day. That is, our obtained energy from our product is 21.23 for the basic. For classic, it is 84.92, and sophisticated, it is 594.44. In case we are going to, let us see, like the basic product is going to be installed in places like hotels, etc. So the requirement of the place, like electricity requirement regarding that place will be 60. So we are going to save the energy of 35%. That is, if a company is going to pay like 100% of electricity to to the main board, we will be saving of 35, because this 35 will be produced from our product. Whereas for classic it is 37 and sophisticated it is 40%. You may think like our product is going to be installed in urban areas, so that there will be no advantage for the rural areas. But there is an advantage for the rural areas, because if we are going to install this products in the urban areas, we are going to have an efficiency of 40%. That is, we are going to reduce the usage of electricity from the main board. So that electricity can be passed on to the rural areas. That's why the rural areas are also benefited. Expected sales. For the first year, we aim to promote a sale of basic 20 products, classic 10, sophisticated 5, totally up to 35. And for the second year, it's totally up to 55. And for the third year, we are aiming for 50. And this is our projected sale details. And let us see the particulars. Like for the first year, the amount of sale will be 5 crores, 11 lakhs 24,500. Our expenses will be nearly 4 crores, and our gross profit will be 20 lakh. From it, if we are going to reduce our interest, it will come up to 8 lakhs. And similarly, for the second year, it will be 16 lakhs. And since our interest rate is, we have got a loan for 1 crore, and it comes up to 1 crore and 12,000 with the interest per annum. So by the end of third year, we will be attaining a net profit of 1 crore and 43 lakhs. That is, our payback period will be 3 years. And research and development. Piezoelectric energy harvesting development has been done in New Zealand, and whereas the investigation into the energy generating revolving door is done in the University of British Columbia. Our corporate social responsibility, we aim to select students who are who need to get a better tutorialship and facilities. And finally, let me conclude with saying, olden days, necessity is the mother of invention, whereas nowadays, scarcity makes the need for invention. Thank you.
So, before we invite the other team, please, you have listened to the presentation, so you may have some questions. Please note down those questions. We'll see whether we can give you some opportunity to question. You have been listening to entrepreneurs yesterday, and see whatever these people presented today, whether you can learn anything from them, whether you can incorporate what you learned from seasoned practitioners into business plan. This is something I wanted to think before I invite the next team. So, you saw that the sector, what they have chosen. So, now let's listen what Dhruva College has to say about their business plan.
A very good morning to one and all. We, Kaveri Karnam and Pratyusha from Dhruva College of Management, Hyderabad, are here to present our paper titled DNA of Entrepreneurship. When we talk about entrepreneurship, it is basically the creation of a new business. It is very important to know what exactly an entrepreneur goes through. The main problem he faces is conversion of the creative idea into a commercially viable business. He either makes a way or finds his own way. In the previous generation, the world was exposed to creators of new businesses. They set up a mindset which changed the way people think. People started thinking of becoming entrepreneurs than becoming employees. So it is very important for us to know what exactly an entrepreneur goes through. When we talk about entrepreneur on the whole, entrepreneurship can be taken into consideration as a mindset of being happy, a mindset of being sad. In the same way, entrepreneurship is also a mindset. A human mind can be divided into two: a hardware, which is fairly unaltered for all of us, and a software that can be altered in such a way that you align yourself to the path of success. So in order to align ourselves to the path of success, we need to know what exactly an entrepreneur should contain. And hence we propose to you this very unique gene, which we call as entrepreneurship gene or the E gene. So to tell us more about this entrepreneur gene, we have Pratyusha with us.
Good morning. And the proposed entrepreneurship gene, that is E gene, consists of the chief ingredients DNA. D stands for Dare to Soar, N stands for Negotiate to Win-Win, and A stands for Act to Achieve. And coming to the first ingredient, Dare to Soar, Entrepreneurs are often presumed to be gamblers. But it is important for an entrepreneur to be a risk taker, and those risks should be well calculated. So he should work a lot on reducing the risk factor in order to have a better control over the destiny of his vision. So, for a person to possess this D character, the chief entrepreneurial capital can be categorized into 3 I's. And those 3 I's are innovative thinking, integrity, and inquisitiveness to learn. Coming to the first I, innovative thinking. Entrepreneurs should be innovative, they should think out of the box. Instead of doing different things, they should opt for doing things differently. So that they can build their own business models and can be successful. Integrity. An entrepreneur should demonstrate an honest and purposeful actions. A soldier to a nation, he should dedicate himself to his enterprise. And coming to third I, inquisitiveness to learn. To know that you don't know is a great step towards success. Like that, he should have the ability and willingness to learn new things so that he can grab new opportunities that are coming on his way. And coming to the second ingredient, negotiate to win-win. And as we all know, the markets have become very competitive and customer-centric. It is very important for an entrepreneur to strike a win-win situation, wherein he can formulate cooperative, competitive strategies that would help his enterprise so that he can maintain healthy relations with the stakeholders of his enterprise. And with regard to this context, we would like to mention the ABCs of negotiation propounded by Osama El-Kadi. They are aim big, be patient, and concede small. And coming to the third ingredient, act to achieve. Most of the people fail to step into the path of entrepreneurship just because of the fear of failure. But basically, entrepreneurs are the survivors of self-doubt syndrome. As no entrepreneurial paths are identical, we cannot replicate those ways. And however, people either see the big picture or look into the small details. But an entrepreneur should have the capability of seeing the big picture as well as looking into the devil in the detail. Like every gene, each gene also undergoes distortions. Let us see what the distortions are.
When we talk about humans and human genes, like every human gene, each gene can also undergo distortions. When a gene undergoes mutations, it causes abnormalities. In the same way, when each gene undergoes mutations, it can lead to the failure of an entrepreneur. So, let us consider these 3 cases where each of the character is mutated. So, let's consider this first character, that is the D element. When a D element is mutated, the whole essence of being an entrepreneur is lost. If he doesn't innovate, if he doesn't have the inquisitiveness to learn, if he's not integrated towards his company, it is obvious that the company might undergo failure. Now here I would like to quote an example of a company which has been pioneer in photography. That is Kodak. Kodak has been a pioneer in photography and has operated in monopoly since quite a long time. But when the competitors came in with innovative technology and different kinds of photography, Kodak failed to innovate. And since it failed to innovate, it could not sustain the change in the market. And because of that, we have seen that past 12 years, the share prices of Kodak has fallen by 93%. And just in the year 2011, it has fallen by 83%. So here you can see how important it is for a company to innovate, continuously innovate, to cope with the change in the markets. A company which fails to innovate and cope with the change, we can term them as a pedestrian. Moving to the next element, the N element. The stakeholders are the backbone of a company. If your customers aren't happy, it is obvious that the company will not flourish. So hence it is very important for an entrepreneur or an enterprise as a whole to generate a feeling of winning or a feeling of satisfaction in the stakeholders. A company which fails to do so can be termed as a lone furrow, and it will go into extinction sooner or later. Moving further, the A element. It is known, or a known fact, that entrepreneurs are basically action-oriented and action-centric. It is very important for an entrepreneur to take the right decision at the right time. Now here, I would again like to quote an example of a company called AstroTurf. Now this company basically provides synthetic grass to National Football League. National Football League initially used to operate on natural grass, but then AstroTurf provided synthetic grass to them so that it is easy to maintain and also the players get less hurt. Now, it operated in monopoly till the year 1996. In the year 1996, a company called Field Turf came into picture. Field Turf again came with the same model, I mean the synthetic grass, but they started selling this grass at a very low cost. Further, in the span of like 4 months, they went into R&D and innovated the product in such a way that it was even better than the synthetic grass. Now, when we talk of the pioneer company, that is AstroTurf, which operated in monopoly till the year 1996, it could have taken the right decision in the year 1996 to take an action either to innovate or to take precautions so that large market share does not go away from their hand. But it failed to do so. It thought that since it was a pioneer and operated in monopoly for such a long time, it cannot actually lose such a lot of market share. But now you can see that the market is divided into people taking synthetic grass from Field Turf and people taking synthetic grass from AstroTurf. So here you can see how important it was for AstroTurf to take the right decision at the right time. And since it failed to do so, it lost a lot of market share. A company which fails to a company which fails to take the right decision at the right time can be termed as anesthetized. So, on the whole, in this paper, we present to you this unique E gene which is present in entrepreneurs, either born or made. When an entrepreneur is born, he has the congenital gene, that is a gene which he is born with. But when he makes himself an entrepreneur, he makes the mutations in such a way that he aligns himself to the path of success. The mutations are made in the right sense at the right path so that success is achieved. In this paper, we also present to you how mutations caused in the E gene can actually lead to the failure of an entrepreneur. And these mutations can be altered or taken care of with the help of training and development, with the help of proper mentoring, with the help of various other processes, and it can assure the success of an entrepreneur and can lead to an entrepreneurship as a revolution. Hence, we conclude by saying that a man must be humble enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. Thank you.
From the audience? Hello? Do you have any questions from the audience, please? Because questioning is also a skill. Yeah, you got a question. Yeah, please tell your name and yeah, one by one from there. Yeah. Use the mic. Yeah. Please introduce yourself and then ask. And also tell whom the question is addressed. From there you can talk. There is enough mics there, no? Removed. It is there. There, it is there. Mic is there.
Good morning. I'm Jovita from St. Joseph's College of Engineering, and I have a question for the business plan team. They said they're going to incorporate a piezoelectric crystal under the door. And I just want to know how much a piezoelectric crystal can generate, because you said so many kilowatts of power with just one crystal tile. Is it feasible to produce it?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah, respond.
It's not that they are going to incorporate the tile under the door. It's the place where the people is going to walk. Okay, and the door is a separate thing and the tile is going to be a separate thing. It can, as we said for the door is able to generate about 0.9 volt per revolution, we told. But it is not possible for the tail. We cannot tell it for the specific tail that how much it is able to produce, because we are calculating the energy on the overall, like 50 tails or for 200 tails or 1400 tails. So it is not possible for us to calculate the value of energy that has been produced by one tail.
Because there's already a study and they laid a road for a kilometer with piezoelectric crystals. And they said they can generate 400 kilowatts of power with 1 kilometer tile. And you say you just incorporate few tiles under the door near the place where people work. I don't think it's really feasible. And how will you build a generator plant under the flooring? What if you're doing it in the 3rd floor or the 4th floor?
Yeah, I can explain that to you
Yeah.
too. And
Thank you. Let it not be kind of thing. You'll ask one question, they will answer. Don't grill. You are not going to fund them anyway. Okay. So let's listen. Okay. What they have to say. The idea is to see whether these people can predict what are the kind of questions people will ask. Okay. That's the idea. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Go on.
The tile is not the exact tile what we use it in every day. It is like a rubber made, and so that the pressure can be impacted. And we are not going to make it like a road means it will the full extent it will be extended. Whereas the tile means we are going to place it in the alternate manner so that there will be a displacement. That's why we are not going to in detail explaining it. There will be a displacement. That's why, and tile can produce around 5 joules per step.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Let's leave there. We'll ask, how do you ask this question differently? The same thing, like that also we need to learn. Have you done any prototype? Have you, they said, no, we have done it at home. Then we'll do it in customer place. Have you done it? So that will be the better question to ask. Because we have been talking about asking entrepreneurs to think, business graduates to think. So we need to also ask that kind of question. What is the question I need to ask? Have you done it? Have you done any prototype? So that will be the kind of question you need to ask. The idea is, it is not, answering is easy. As you go in life, you will know that questioning is difficult. So as a business graduate, you must also learn not only answer questions, but also ask questions. Yeah. This you can take it, then we'll go to that.
It's actually not, we are not implementing it in a place or like a residence or something. We are just, we have just a plan that we'll set up, that we'll assemble it in our like organization, or we'll do it in our warehouse. Then we'll be implementing it in a customer place.
Yeah. In other words, you are still saying it in a conceptual stage.
Yes.
So that we need to be clear. Because all these questions came because you didn't clear that. Okay?
Okay,
so
sir.
thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So do we have, yeah, give a good round of applause. So do you have questions for people who have been talking about DNA of entrepreneurship? Yeah. Any questions for them?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Who is that?
Sir, here.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, I have a question for the business plan.
No, that's over.
Simple.
We don't have enough time. That's why I said. Yeah. So do you have questions on DNA? If you don't have questions, I'll think that you have understood whatever they said. That is a positive way of saying that. Huh? You are not what? Okay, so thank you very much. You didn't have any questions. Thank you. Yeah. It is a great myth when you talk about business plan. If you write a great business plan, you will succeed. Researchers prove writing a business plan is only a first step. Ram Charan, the celebrated writer, business consultant, says, the success of any business or venture is not the function of strategy or a business plan. He says, the success of any business plan lies in execution. So you may have a brilliant plan, but if you don't know how to execute it, it could fail. Conversely, not well-written business plan, but we know how to implement it, it has got fair chances of successful. This is something you need to know. So which means what angel investors are looking for. They are saying, look here, everyone has got idea. And there are people who can also communicate that idea as a business idea. But that's not enough. So, the first thing that we are looking at is, do we have people? So, when you talk about any business plan, you should be talking about the people. Because people are the most important thing. Who are going to drive that? The people who funded Apple, Microsoft, those people are saying this. We are looking at people to be the most important because we know you cannot predict how a business is going to happen in next 5 years or 10 years. So please, I beg your pardon, please listen. Because this is the toughest to make people listen. Valluvar said 2000 years back, Kattrilan Ayinum Ketka. Which means what? Even if you are dead, good for nothing, fellow, listen. So the management graduate must listen even more. Kattrilan Ayinum Ketka. So please listen. So, when you're talking about entrepreneurship, when you're talking about business plan, he says, we cannot, and the sensible angel investors are not looking at dots, T's. What they are looking at is, do you have a business plan in the sense, do you have a idea? They know it is not possible. But what they are looking at is, do the people have the ability to be sensitive to the changes as and when it happens? So that is what a business plan is expected to capture, which means that in a business plan, you not only talk about opportunity, you also talk about risk. When you talk about risk, you don't not only talk about risk and how you are preparing yourself to mitigate the risk. So you may argue. What is the argument? How can I predict all the risk? If you remember Goli Vadapav, he said very interesting, no? They said, you don't have any plans to sell, there is no stalls, you spend a lot of money. Found enough people who can sell Vadapav. Then what happened? Vadapav became a political problem. So you had to close everything. So the point the business plan is, it is not that, you are talking about risk. If you have thought about how to mitigate the risk, it means that you have the ability to handle any risk as it presents itself in future. So we are not looking at the perfect business plan or perfect risk identification and risk mitigation. But the idea is this. The idea is, are you sensitive enough to identify the risk and, hello, please listen, please. Identify the risk and your proposal to mitigate. When you talk about entrepreneur, we said everything. If you have been listening yesterday, you will find that. You may have a great idea. You may have a great product as well. But all these things do not make sense till you collect money. If you don't collect money, you cannot be entrepreneur. I have my personal experience. When I started my profession 30 years back, my wife is also chartered accountant. Like a lot of us, like Vidya said yesterday, when you do projects, initially people don't pay. They only give work. They don't pay. It takes time for you to get money. So there are a lot of receivables, but no cash. My wife said to me, if we cannot collect cash, if we don't have the ability to collect cash from our customers, let's close shop, we'll go for a job. That's a very important thing, because what I'm saying, this is something which is not even taught in chartered accountancy. We say cash flow is important, but nobody ever told, if you don't collect cash, you are in trouble. So it is important. Cash flow is important. So when you are talking about risk, one of the things you need to take into account is how I'm going to collect money. If the money is not coming at that point of time, what is the alternative you have? Because you will find most of the business plans go for a 6 for want of this work. Though, see, this is something I thought I need to talk about. When we have been talking about entrepreneurship, DNA, she said gambler. That's a word you used, right? But the research says entrepreneurship is not about gambling. They are as much worried about taking risk like all of you. But the only thing is, even though people have been saying they are not afraid to fail and all kind of things, they are also afraid to fail. But because they are afraid to fail, they take a lot of preparation. So this is something we need to understand. When we talk about risk taking, we are not talking about risk taking in a traditional way. We are talking about risk taking because whatever assumptions you have made at the point of time, by the time you get into business might change. You found it in Vada Pav. You started seeing it Vidya, easy Vidya. So yesterday our Mr. Sivakumar has been saying, I have a track record of making 7 years of loss. So it is not what we are talking about. So what we are talking about, yes. So you have done all your work, but still things can go wrong. That's the kind of risk we are talking about. We are not talking about a risk without knowing anything. Like all of us take risk by going in the bus, hanging on the bus. That's not the risk we are talking about. That is also risk. That is not a risk we are talking about. The risk we are talking about is the kind of assumptions you make is no longer valid when you enter a business. You will find those things are happening. So what we are talking about here is, when you talk about risk taking, we are talking about being sensitive to risk. And your time, energy, and willing to put. As we go on, DNA, when we talk about, all the things that we have been talking about is success in initial days. But the big challenge, if you are talking about money, what they are going to ask is, can you scale up? If you remember what Professor Kumar said yesterday, most of the small businesses we have in India have got 2 people. That is a boss and assistant. They are in the entrepreneurship. So when you are giving this kind of plan, then angel investor, banker, they will not touch. Because slightest misfortune, you will be out of business. So when we are talking about risk, please understand this very clearly. We are not talking about a risk what you take without understanding, without evaluating what's happening in the field. This is something I thought we need to know. When we talk about entrepreneur, it is not that entrepreneur is enjoying risk. It is not true. It might appear to others that they are enjoying risk. It is not true. Valluvar said 2000 years back, Enbiladanai veyil pola kaayume anbiladanai aram. Which means, the insects which do not have bones, the sun god will give pain. Like that, if you are not passionate about what you are doing, the very work will pain you. When we talk about entrepreneurs, you find that the entrepreneurs have been passionate about the idea. They have invested everything of theirs into that. This is something we need to understand. So they are passionate about it. It is that passion, their liking, that induce them to take more pain. It induces them to look pain as something as important. What in English we call pangs of growth. The pain involved they are enjoying, not because it's important, but because they know that's the only way you are going to grow. That is why when we talk about giving birth, we say pangs of giving birth, pangs of learning, pangs of growth. This is something entrepreneur understands and appreciates. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, you need to take that in mind as well. So today, why we are talking about business education for entrepreneur? Because you will understand the language. It is not enough that you do business in a small way. Because doing in a small way gets into trouble. So this is something we need to take. Like yesterday, if you look at it, our Jankiram was saying so beautifully. What did he say? We take a business and must also see in that business how many other businesses are possible. He talked about vertical and horizontal. So this is something you must go on thinking about it. When you go on thinking about it, it gives more and more opportunity to expand, what we call de-risk. He said very interestingly, even though he started on a very small scale, 500, 2000, he went up to 2 lakhs because he identified needs and he understood this is something I can do. That is being sensitive to market. So that's important. And the most important thing is, how do you price your product? That is why Mr. Sivakumar yesterday said very interestingly. He said, if you are a franchisee entrepreneur, you don't have that problem. Because what price you will have to sell, it is already determined. Because this is one of the biggest problems of an entrepreneur. Why? Because we say in management, you would have heard enough from your professors of strategy, that cost is a reality, pricing is a strategy. So which means you don't know. So the first question you need to ask when you are talking about entrepreneurship, when you are talking about business plan, what is the product that I am going to make and what is the money that customer is willing to pay? Toyota revolutionized entire production, assembly line. What is the idea? Simple idea. What is the simple idea they did? They went and asked the market, how much you are willing to pay for these futures? What are the futures you want to have and how much you are willing to pay? They kept that as a base and started working towards that. And then they said, this is the target sales. If that is the target sales, they said, I want to make so much money. So please understand, this is the difference between traditional accounting and the business plan. In a traditional accounting, profit is what is left. In a business, profit is what you aspire. So you don't talk about profit at the end. That is the traditional accounting. In a business plan, you actually say, this is the money I'm going to make. And this is how I'm going to make. So this is important. This is exactly what Toyota did. All of you must read that book, The Lean and Mean Manufacturing. It's a fantastic book. How they changed the world. And because of that, they could take head on against American manufacturer. Very simple thing, nothing new. So, in a generic market, this is exactly what Mr. Sivakumar said yesterday. What is important is, how do I bring efficiency to the organization? How do I bring efficiency to the operations? We have nothing, no strategy there, no brainer. Hello, please. Hello. Sense, so that even people who are left out can make sense of what people have been saying here. Okay? It takes a lot of effort to bring such great people here for you. You must make best out of that. That is why through these things we are trying to actually give you that support, even if you have left something yesterday. Yeah? So, this is something you need to understand. So, operations. So, when you are talking about any business plan, it is not only about value adding, when you are talking about top grade products, but even for ordinary products, how I can reduce the cost and make it profitable. So these things that you need to go, you need to think. When you do that, then it becomes a strategy. When you talk about business plan is an expression of a strategy. This is something you need to understand. When entrepreneurs talk about, entrepreneurs may or may not have ability to put their strategy in place, but they have a very clear plan in their mind. This is something I thought I need to share with you, so that you will do exactly understand what's happening. So with this, we'll close. Thank you very much for being nice to me by listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Padmanabhan, and also congratulations to the two winning teams. May I now request Mr. Manikam, a member managing committee MMA, to kindly step on the stage to present a memento to Mr. K.M. Padmanabhan. Thank you, sir, for chairing this session.